Hello again everybody, this is Zach Rollins of Zach Rollins Guitar Lessons, and today in this video I want to take you through a comprehensive process of learning bends from the bottom up, starting with things like hand posture, moving on to things like pitch correction, and also ending by teaching you some combination of techniques that you can use to make your own unique licks. Alright, so when it comes to the physical technique behind performing the bend, there are two main things you're going to want to keep in mind. The first being the posture of your hand and your wrist on the neck, and secondly, the way you use your fingers to brace or separate the strings from the string that you're bending to prevent any unwanted catching or any unwanted string noise. So my basic philosophy concerning the technique that goes into bending is that even though it's comfortable and easy to let your thumb hang over the neck and use that to brace your hand so that you can kind of just squeeze the string while you bend, it is better for your technique overall and for your ability to play other things following up bends if you learn to bend with your thumb more on the back of the neck. I find that even if I'm doing a lot of strenuous bends, even if I don't let it go any higher than this, I can still do a lot of big, powerful bends without it affecting my dexterity or my endurance. So with that in mind, it's helpful to think of bending less as a process of squeezing and more as a process of pushing upward when you bend. One more helpful tip for performing bends is to keep in mind which strings you may need to manually mute with your other fingers while you're performing a bend. Say for example, if you want to do some really aggressive bends on the first string, you'll notice while I'm doing those that I'm kind of lightly barring, just touching the third string and the second string, even though I'm not playing them or bending them, just to make sure that I'm not catching those strings while I play them so that I'm not at risk of doing something like this while I rake the strings. Now granted, while that may be a sound that you purposely want to get, if you don't want to get that sound, it's important to keep in mind wherever you may need to brace those strings, give them a little separation, or to simply deaden them with other fingers while you're bending your main string. Alright, so the next step in the process of learning how to perform bends is learning how to control your pitch. So if you start out with just a simple whole step bend, a really simple and easy way to check the accuracy of your pitch is to do what I call a unison bend. Now this is something that you may hear a lot in a lot of classic rock licks. Now what this is also very useful for is checking the accuracy of your pitch, and you do that by seeing just how much wavering there is between the pitch of the string that you're bending and the pitch of the string that you're checking it against. So for this bending up to a B, so if I was to go a little flat, you can hear more dissonance, but if I was to go even sharper, there's kind of a similar amount of dissonance. Now, to make sure that it's as accurate as possible, what you want to shoot for is to make sure that there's as little wavering as possible. The same way that you'd look for as little wavering as possible if you were tuning. Another interesting and engaging way to check the accuracy of your bends is to practice pre-bends, which is just performing the fullness of the bend and then plucking it and only doing the downward part of the motion. And again, you can do this by checking it against a unison bend string. Alright, now that we've covered the fundamentals of performing bends, I want to finish off this workshop by providing you with a few ideas about how to get the most out of bends by combining them with other techniques on guitar so that you can use that to learn how to make your own unique licks for your solos and your improv. A good simple technique to start to combine with your bends is just hammer-ons and pull-offs. Take for example this blues lick. That's a good example of going from a hammer-on into a bend, Or inversely, you could go from a bend into a pull-off. And as you go along, you'll find that there are lots of interesting ways to string these kinds of combinations together. Another really fun technique that you can do with bends is double stop bends, or basically doing bends that harmonize with another string. Say if you were to take this basic E major scale shape. If you were to take this one bend, you could see just how many other strings in that scale, or notes in that scale, that you can make a harmony with. Say this is a classic one that you can do in country. You could even add in the first string there if you wanted to. But all the other notes that you have at your disposal include so that's another really fun thing that you can do with bending. One last combination of techniques that I'll leave you with is to be able to combine slides with bends, such as this lick right here. Alright, to wrap it up, here's one final lick that uses all three of the techniques that we just covered. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and if you would like to keep up with any new tutorials or any new jams or songs that I come out with, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. If you'd also like to set up for a free first lesson with me, then you can contact me at zrollinsguitarlessons@gmail.com, and all my information is in the description below. Thanks again, and happy playing, everybody.